We're the largest domestically owned sake brewery in the U.S., and we have capacity to serve all the U.S. in premium sake. Sake as a beverage is over several centuries old, 1,500 years old beverage. And Americans were introduced to sake when the sushi craze happened in the late 60s, early 70s. When that craze happened, Japan was not exporting much of their sake, and there's a lot of different qualities of sake that are in production. And typically what was sent over was lower quality mass-produced sake. And it has some distinct flavor profiles that are not favorable. Premium craft sake, we're in the top 10% of quality with the production methods we use to make sake, and the flavor profiles are completely different. They're more akin to a wine than they are to a distilled spirit. Sake rice is fairly bland because it's high in starch, and that starch is what allows fermentation to be robust and to give the right, correct flavors. So there's two components of that, not only just the variety of rice, but also the milling of that rice. And milling of sake rice is actually called polishing sake rice. And you take the outer layers of the rice, the fats and proteins are on the outer layers of the rice, and you mill that down to sometimes 50%. You have a step called making koji. And koji is the key to making sake. With rice and water and yeast, you're not going to get alcohol. So koji is a step where you inoculate the rice, steamed rice, with a mold spore called kojikine. It's a naturally occurring spore that breaks down the starches into fermentable sugars. And that step, without adding sugar to sake, you get alcohol. We are a very sustainable beverage from a production standpoint. Our water is sourced on site. We're 100% solar powered, and our source material is 70 miles from our location here. Hot Springs has some of the most renowned water in the world. And we analyzed the water here in Hot Springs, and it was actually perfect for brewing sake. So Arkansas, being the largest rice producer, when you look at the beverage space, wine is about an $80 billion a year market. Sake is 0.02% of wine. So there's a huge opportunity. If we could get to 1% of wine or 2% of wine sales, it's 10, 20-fold increase in sake sales in the United States. Rice from Arkansas is now being sold to Norway, Australia, and Mexico for sake production. So our next phase, we're expanding into Texas now, Tennessee, Missouri, Mississippi, and Florida. A lot of people understand the story of Napa wines, Kentucky bourbons, and really a lot of beverages have a sense of place. In Arkansas, you couldn't beat it for sake.